That's right.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, said about the football's like war. So the Italians and the French surrender.
Oh yes, yeah, that's there.
Americans turn up late and we end up dealing with the Germans.
Yeah, there it is.
There. It goes into.
Paddy takes a goldfish to the vet complaining that it's got some epilepsy. The vet says it looks calm enough to me, and Paddy says you haven't taken out the fucking ball yet. I like that.
Okay, right. Oh, welcome back to the second to pretty much second to last section of the weekend. In the last section, obviously we'll cover laws and this, that, the other, and we'll sort it out with the DVDs and bits and bobs. Everything I spoke about this weekend is in some manner on the other DVDs, i.e. the ones you'll take away with you. Most of the stuff we've covered this weekend will not be on there in video format because I've not talked about it before, as I explained. But it'll be on there with some sort of backup text material or audio file to refer to. So, just very briefly, on suggestion therapy, that's the only thing I haven't really said a right lot about, which is the idea of putting someone into a trance, eyes closed relaxation process, which could be like the start bit of CMT to get them to their eyes closed, or could be the obligatory seesaw, or could be the eye closure thing, or could be any one of the many different inductions that you'll see demonstrated on the video footage on the DVDs that you take away. In a nutshell, direct suggestion. If someone is doing something they no longer wish to do, you give them suggestions that they will not do it anymore. And if they are not doing something they want to do, you give them suggestions that they can and will. In the context of what we've already said about pain and pleasure, making it such that it seems psychologically more pleasurable to leave behind the negative behaviour and painful to continue with it. Painful not to get the new behaviour, pleasurable to get it. So that's it really. That's how you write your own suggestions. A bit of common sense. We've shared loads of script ideas on the backup materials with the DVDs, but that's it essentially. Stereotypical stuff, obviously, smoking. You no longer need one crave or desire for cigarettes or tobacco in any way, shape or form. No weight loss, you no longer need one crave or desire for sugary or fatty foods. It's common sense. Okay, I'll come aside. What we're going to do next? Speed reading is quick, we'll get it out of the way. Speed reading is fundamentally bollocks. Okay? You're either going to remember something or you're not. Simple as. Now, there are memory techniques out there that work for remembering things, but that's a totally different thing than speed reading. You'll actually find on the dish with this that there are manuals on there teaching memory techniques, mnemonics as they call it, like conjuring up images and connecting to remember stuff. But I'm not going to go into that because we haven't got time, it's not particularly relevant to this weekend. Speed reading, the only elements, as far as I'm aware, that have been proven to work are as follows. Number one, you could, if you're going to use a hypnotic approach, hypnotise the person and give them some bollocks that they're going to retain more information and be able to read it more quickly. If they believe that to be the case, they may have more confidence in their abilities or choose to then react in such a manner that they go, wow, retaining more or remembering. It's quite often this case of people being distracted. It's about being focused on that one thing. So obvious common sense. Don't be reading where the kids are going to be shouting in your ear. It's actually, you know, that's why libraries are meant to be quiet. Got run over by a mobile library, haven't they? Going, ah, and they let that one. I tell the joke, they laugh, that's comedy.
Sorry, after last night, I don't remember what comedy is anymore.
Indeed. Anyway, right. The other thing is, some people will find it beneficial to get something such as, similar to a bookmark, but not with anything printed on it, not words, just... And literally, put it underneath the first line, move your head across, read, next line, so that you're not losing your place. And it's also more focused, the area you're looking at.
What about the technique of going down the centre of the page?
Yeah, I'm going to that.
I'm asking the question.
Some people argue, I don't know what my belief is on this, but then there's, what we just mentioned, there's two more. I'll leave that one till last because I know what you're referring to. Yeah, if you've got your bookmarky type thing and you've got it there, I don't mean just read it at your normal speed. Apparently, if you've got that light and you start at the left as you would, and it's not a case of sort of saying each word in your head, it's a case of looking at each word so you know that your eyes have registered onto each word. Next line, next line, next line. So obviously you can get through that page pretty damn quick. Now apparently, studies have been done. Who am I to argue? Well, there's been studies to disprove it as well, as there is with everything in life. Studies have been done to say that people given a paper, exam paper, like, based on the book, who've done that, as opposed to just trying to read through it quickly without the bookmark or without sort of visually taking in each word, got more answers correct in the book relevant quiz than those that didn't. But there's other research studies that show that's bollocks, so sort of who do you believe? Who had the correct book together study? Don't know. Well, that is what these courses will teach you. And the other one can be, yeah, there is an approach, if this is the same one you're referring to, then if it's not, please correct me. You get the page and you just sort of go right and you open them, so you're sort of staring at the middle of the page. So it is literally like page, eyes open, stare at the centre, couple of seconds, close eyes, next page.
Yeah.
As in being a human camera.
Okay.
And apparently, people who did that got more answers right in said quiz afterwards.
The better, I saw that on television where the guy just went straight down the middle of the page. Over.
Right, well that would be peripheral vision, which is pretty much similar, but yeah, start at the top, stare at the middle and go down with your eyes, but so that you peripherally see the edges of the page and just go. So it's like, more like, let's say, the analogy of a photocopier or a scanner. Apparently.
I did that once. I had a test on The Great Gatsby and I had half an hour to read the book, so I literally did that all the way through to the whole book. Got absolutely everything there, except, you know what, I didn't realise Gatsby, got to the end of the book, did the quiz, didn't even realise Gatsby got killed. But I could tell you all sorts of things. The brain connected all the stuff up.
Yeah.
You know, his death is just like something of him lying there. I just missed that bit. And
Just hold the ending for me now.
And to be honest, that is, as much as I personally know about speed reading, and as much as I've ever frankly used, because the most I've done in terms of making any money out of speed reading is sold people audio CDs that will help them remember and read faster. Which, oddly enough, is just CMT. But if they want to believe that it's going to help them, then it will. Or may. God knows. Who cares? Yes, there's not really much else I can say about that. But in a nutshell, from all the books I've read and DVDs I've seen, you can pretty much fully point it down to those things. Right, we've done that. Symptom substitution. Now, in a direct suggestion, environment or intervention, you might be ahead of me on this. You use common sense, and you may go, if in future at any moment, or you you may, you know, for a split second have a craving or desire for a cigarette, you'll find there's an automatic reflex action that your unconscious mind that can be relied upon, and all that waffle that was in CMT will remind you that what you really want, what you've got a real craving, need, desire for is a glass of water. You directly tell them. That's one approach. The other is to visually anchor the idea of said change. So, in this form, Nick and Eva speak and call it bungee technique. I've forgotten what name Richard Bandler gives it in the book Transformations, but it's essentially the same thing. Okay, which would be, and just for my hand positioning alone, this will be done in an eyes open state. Now, you don't necessarily need to fully awake your client from trance. You could give them a post-hypnotic suggestion and say, in a few moments' time, on the count of 3, you'll be able to open your eyes. But whenever I say sleep, as quickly as that, I snap my fingers as quickly as that, you just allow your eyes to close, you have your head to fall forward onto your chest, and you'll really instantly re-enter this state. Except each and every time you do it, it'll be 100 times deeper, more relaxing and enjoyable for you. Nod your head if you understand. That's them making a commitment and saying yes, they understand what they've got to do and when they've got to do it. So then you could say, by the way, because you need their eyes open for this particular technique. And the idea is that you say, look, let's say it's currently, let's say it's a food-related issue, but with common sense, this can be applied to pretty much anything. Okay? Let's say it's food, and you say, okay, which are the foods that particularly bother you? And they might say cakes, biscuits, all the sugary stuff. Might not be, because let's say it's that. You say, look, if you're looking out in front of you like that, as you can see in front of you, as you think about all those lovely cakes and biscuits and all the stuff that you know you really, really, really like on one level, but on another level you wish you could just leave behind in the past, gone completely. Again, immediately slipping into the language patterns we go through. If you had to sort of reach out somewhere, would they be up there? Would they be down here? Whereabouts would they be? Here. Okay, so they're sort of here, yeah? And the client will say somewhere, and if they go, what do you mean? You go, well, if you did know, where do you feel you'd be drawn to? So they end up pointing somewhere. So let's say it's here. You go, great, that's cool. Now what do you feel would be something that you particularly really would never want to eat?
Something you wouldn't want. Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprouts. Okay, imagine we had a big bowl of Brussels sprouts. And I tend to get quite severe with mental images. The more outlandish, obscene, ridiculous, the more emotional impact one. And someone shit on them. Okay. Yeah? Someone else has shaved the pubic hair off, and it's all been mixed together. Okay. And if that was somewhere in front of you, because all over is the cakes, the lovely stuff, where, if you knew where it was, would all that be? That'd be down here. Yeah? Okay. Cakes, really nice. Horrible, horrible. Yeah. You definitely won't want to eat them. Well, I'd like you to imagine here, where all the cakes, all the really good stuff. And that could just as easily be smoking, drink, you know, thing you want to get rid of. I want you to imagine on the count of 3 that I'm going to take hold of that, and I'm going to, in fact, we'll go one better. On the count of 3, I want you to grab hold of it. And you're going to throw it away from you so that it goes all the way out. It's actually going to go through the wall. It's magical, it can do that. But you realise that it's actually like on a bungee cord. Well, this bungee cord isn't tied in. It's tied down there, so it's going to go out, and it's going to flick all the way back in, down there. And on the count of 3, just grab hold of it and just go, throw it out, right? 1, 2, 3, grab it, and throw it out, and it's going out, and there. Do it again, 1, 2, 3, grab hold of it there, throw it out, there. And follow wherever my hand goes, so 1, 2, 3, there, and throw it out, and there. It's bam. Now seriously, gone completely there. Closing your eyes, thinking about the lovely cakes and all that stuff at this moment in time. trying to think of them as you once did in the past. Scale of 0 to 10, you do calibration stuff. I didn't bother because I'm just giving you the idea of this changing position thing. How much lower is it now? Do you desire for them? You really don't want them. Why is that? Open your eyes. In fact, if you think about it, you won't want to eat them with you all sort of mixed up all together. This is like classic aversion theory in this context. However, you could argue that we've left a gap in their life, something they desire. Here. Okay. So, we now want to put something there to replace that gap. We could ask them, for example, drinking more water may be appropriate. Do you feel that would be better than, if you rather than eating carrot sticks or celery that burns off more calories than what you're eating, at the time, instead, would that perhaps be more appropriate? But obviously it's not quite what you had before, but if you were thinking about, celery right now and you had to point out if you knew where it was, where would it be in front of you? It's going to be somewhere different. It just is, because in their own head we're going to be somewhere different, so it's here. What I want you to do on the count of 3, you're going to grab that, throw it out. It's on a bungee cord, but it's actually connected up here. It's going to come back there, okay? Reach out, 1, 2, 3, throw it out. It's here, right? Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, throw it out. It's here, right? There you go. Grab on it. 1, 2, 3, throw it out. It's here, right? Now, do I really need to continue with this, or has the penny dropped yet? Has the penny dropped yet? So now we've filled this gap up with someone.
Where did you get the invisible bungee cords from?
There's 3 free ones inside your DVD. Yeah. To be honest, I've probably done that slightly wrong in the manner of how Nick and Eva explain it, and how Richard Bandler explains it. But I can't remember which bits it is I've done wrong, but it doesn't matter, because that's right. Okay? It is, because, something that was neutral, doesn't matter, something neutral can go, but something that was really positive needs to be replaced to be dependency, but it needs to be a positive one. And with common sense, you can adapt that to pretty much anything. And obviously you do that prior to boring them to death with CMT or whatever for the rest of the session. So that will be like, another way of getting symptom substitution. Thank you, Rob. Can we take a seat? So yeah, that's how you would get positive symptom substitution type thing. And it is as simple as that. You could arguably say that was in some manner similar to a swish pattern, changing movement. Some people would say that's similar to what you get taught when you do eye movement, desensitization, response, this shite that you get someone to stare at a point with fingers and you suddenly go and fucking move and whatever.
Isn't it?
It's fixation of attention. Oh, that's sort of like hypnosis. It's a pattern interrupt. It's a swish. It's made up of all the same fucking things you've learned this weekend. You can make up your own winky wanky therapies from this. I'm giving you the tools. The point is, I know I'm saying winky wanky therapies, but I do believe that they work. Because they do work, and that's why I've been doing them for the past 20 odd years. And loads of other people have. They do work. The point is, when you understand the building blocks that make them work, you can come up with your own that may be suited more to a certain niche market, would find something more acceptable to them. Yeah? Okay, noisy therapy. Oh, this is cool, this, because noisy therapy, drug speed reading, there was past life regression, and there was the phobia cure. And I think that was it, wasn't it?
And you've got to talk about business.
Yeah, business, gosh, laws, ethics. Yeah, that pretty much. Yeah, right. Noisy therapy, got a subcategory that to pain control. Doesn't have to be pain control. It's just another technique. It's something to anchor the person's mind. Now, noisy therapy is the title and copyrighted to, devised by Dr. Angel Escudero of Valencia in Spain. He's a Spanish surgeon. who uses this technique, allegedly, I'll say allegedly, purely and simply. If I had to bet money on it, I'd say I'm 75% certain that this is all he uses, which is what he claims. So from what I've seen, the evidence I've seen, I'd say it pretty much is, as far as I can tell, all he uses to help people have operations without conventional anaesthetic and without feeling any discomfort whatsoever. Right. There are levels of gravity here. We have low end, controlling pain, as an alternative to painkillers, conventional style. And then there's high end, when you're getting people to have dental work, or that's a bit more, you better bloody work. Okay, low end wise. The idea behind this is that you get saliva on your tongue. It could, as horrible as that. The idea behind this being that the human body, physiologically speaking, is programmed with the fight or flight response. And then when you are scared, stressed, in pain, your muscles tighten up. When you're in fear or stressed, sometimes in fact your mouth becomes dry, and that's an ingrained, arguably genetic, passed on to us, fight or flight response. But when you're relaxed, happy, pain-free, plenty of saliva, unless you just need a drink, muscles relaxed, the direct opposite. It is as simple as that. So the idea is that if you're in pain, the chances are your muscles, or some or more of them, will be tighter than they should be, and that your mouth will be dry, and that your body's getting those messages of the pain, fight, flight response, call it what you will, the negative side. So if you can get saliva, lots of it, onto your tongue, your body starts to react. There's lots of saliva, that's the opposite of what it was before, and reacts, this is the theory, reacts in the manner that's opposite to that, namely to start to relax and do the direct opposite. If there was pain, to feel less pain. It seems simplistic, it seems a bit, but I'll tell you why I actually do believe it works in a minute. But you also give yourself an affirmation. So, it's not something where you're going to go, my entire body is now pain-free. You're going to do it in areas, otherwise it's a bit, you're asking a bit too much. But perhaps say somebody with arthritis, the leg might be playing up and the back, you would start perhaps with, you'd start with the place obviously that had the most bloody pain first, wouldn't you? Yeah, logically, because that's what you want to deal with first. Do it bit by bit, because that's going to give a knock-on effect. Once something works for you, you know, the knock-on effect we talked about. And the idea is that you think of that area. That's what noisy therapy means, by the way, treatment through thought, when deciphered. You get the saliva on your tongue, which if you find that to be a bit difficult, think of cutting a sour, horrible, juicy, bitter lemon in half, taking hold of it in your mouth. You can imagine it, and mind doing it to yourself and sucking on it. Sucking on it. Oh, sucking that horrible. Now, please tell me, unless you have known, pretty much everyone's starting to get saliva running in the mouth. Okay? So you can always trick yourself, your body, into releasing said saliva, which you then get onto your tongue. I don't suggest you do this on the bus, by the way.
I knew I'd gone wrong somewhere.
Let's say it was my right arm giving me gin. At this point I'm supposed to go 3 times, phrased in a positive fashion, so it's the power of 3 thing again, and it's positive affirmation, tied in with this fight or flight response, saliva anchor. I'm supposed to go, my right arm. Well, that's what it sounds like with the saliva on. What I'm actually saying is my right arm is now completely anaesthetised. I feel no discomfort whatsoever. You gotta do it again. My right arm is now completely anaesthetised. Now, most people actually do have a bit of an inward chuckle or a sense of embarrassment and laughter. Guess what that does? It releases the body's natural chemical serotonin and endorphins that are feel-good chemicals, and guess what? The body's natural opiates, natural painkillers in themselves. Laughter is the best medicine, unless you're diabetic, then insulin works pretty well. So that element of it's also coming into play, as well as the idea that you're going to give yourself this positive phrase, future-paced, I no longer feel like it's gone in the past. Think about it, it's made up on many levels of what we've talked about when we decipher it. It's not the way Dr. Angel Escudero explains it, but when I've deciphered it, this is what I believe is going on. If I'm wrong, it doesn't really matter. The fact is, I found that it works for people. But I think this is what's going on, because the phraseology and all that helps it. This, if it does cause a physiological response in the body, and saliva, has become then anchored to that positive affirmation. So the idea is that if in future at any moment you should feel any discomfort, and from this moment forward, from the start of the session to yourself or to someone else, you no longer allow the word pain to come into your vocabulary. You just use levels of discomfort. And it's easier to reduce a level of discomfort than it is to reduce a level of pain, because it's a less severe word and connotations and anchors and what have you. So you've got the saliva, physiological response, anchored, you slightly laugh inwardly, it's a natural endorphin chemical release, feel good, natural body's opiate anyway, all combined to that. Plus you've got the, the positive affirmation, suggestion, call it what you will. You could say the saliva is the conscious distraction that in an eyes open state places you in a trance momentarily to allow you to get past the nightclub bouncer into the computer room, so that this phraseology of, I no longer feel discomfort in my right arm, can get in there and override the file that's currently going. Now you can download Dr. Angel Escudero's book for free, although he does suggest that you make a small few euro donation to a charity via this online link. From his website. The details are on the dish you take that come with the DVDs. Have a read of that. He'll explain it works for different reasons than what I'm saying. I've got a funny feeling after this weekend you'll come to the exact same conclusion as I've just explained. Excuse me? It doesn't really matter though. Fact is, it works. Now that's, and then the idea is if your level of discomfort was to rise at any point, you should be able to then, even in public, say in public where it may not be appropriate to go, might look a bit, where it's not ideal to be able to do that, although saying it verbally and doing it is obviously going to be better because there's more things going on, more distractions, more repetition, more of everything we spoke about, more ritual and this, that, the other. Where that is not possible, it should have already been anchored to a level to the idea of the saliva. So you should be able to be sat on a bus and just thinking a bit of sour lemon with your mouth closed. Get it on the tip of your tongue, but with your lips closed. And that should trigger off the conditioning that you've already given yourself. Albeit, if you keep using something too often, you will dissipate its effectiveness. So obviously the more you can do the repetition with the saying it out loud, probably best done at home, the better. And Emil Kuhl's a great believer in the power of 3. First thing in the morning when you wake up, just as you get out of bed, you're going to be more suggestible and open-minded. Perhaps say lunchtime just because it's giving you a ritual. And last thing at night before you go to kit, to verbally say it out loud, so you're getting a ritual, and it's the times when your body's shown to be naturally more suggestible anyway, morning, night. All those elements together are essentially why it works when it does work. And I say when it does work, because there is nothing on this planet, nothing, whether it be so-called conventional or New Age, complementary, alternative. There is nothing that works 100% of the time for 100% of the people. There may be things that work to some level for all of the people. There's that old saying, you can please all of the people some of the time, some of the people all of the time, but not all of the people all the time. Except slightly. There might be things that work to a degree with everyone, but to a perfect level, there is nothing that works for everyone all the time. If there was, God crikey, I wouldn't be sat here now. Believe me, I've done it. There just isn't. Face it. I'll be honest with you, there isn't. People might try and mislead you that there is to sell you some snake oil course, but there isn't. Because when you can step back and examine, anything and everything works for what we covered this weekend. That's the low end. The higher end is down to conditioning and repetition, even more so, but giving social proof and evidence immediately. So a trick that Dr. Angel Escudero appears to use, given that it was shown on the footage of Your Life in Their Hands that was shown on the BBC, is that he'll get the client there, say they're going to, it's for painless childbirth, he wants them to really believe, like a fundamentalist Christian level, that it's going to work for them. So he'll start off by going, look, if I pull the hairs on your arm like that, you can feel it, can't you? In fact, it's a bit painful, isn't it? I'll pull them like that. Well, it is if you jerk them, because trust me, grab them and just jerk them. And then he'll go, get the saliva and go, the back of my left hand, or wherever the particular area is, my lower left arm is now completely anaesthetised. I feel no discomfort whatsoever 3 times. Gets him to do it, and he goes, look, you may be aware of a vague sensation, but if I pull on the hairs now, notice, doesn't feel the same, does it? No, but for starters, it ain't going to do. Well, the way I do it, it ain't going to do, because I ain't going to pull the hairs like I did before and jerk them. I'm going to move my fingers in a similar manner, but I'm not going to hold as tightly to the hairs, so it doesn't feel the same. So this therefore convinces them there has been an instant change. Despite knowing that, it can still work for you. Right? Because, it can. In this scenario for operations, I believe then he tell them to say that the back of their left hand is now completely anaesthetised and do the same thing. But before he does, he'll say, can you feel that? You can, and he'll pinch the skin. Right? But really pinch it, so they feel it. And he'll press it for a while. Now, when you do that, it goes numb after a while anyway. So then he'll momentarily let go and he'll say, I left the anaesthetised. And it'll go and pinch them again, but a little more gently, where it was already numbed, so it's going to be less than they expect it to be. He will then take, from a sterile packet open, a very thin grey, very small, hypodermic needle, and he's got hold of their skin like that, it's pinched tight, okay, with one hand. As you can imagine, I now haven't got a hand free to do what he's about to do. So, let's imagine I'm holding an invisible hand there. Yeah, hand wobble, here we go. So he's got them, they're already numb there anyway, it's a bit of skin. Anyways, say the thing, completely anaesthetised. The worst that's ever going to feel is that pinch that quickly becomes numb. Now they're saying the stuff. So in a minute, when I take the hypodermic, very thin, and push it through that fleshy skin, back of their hand, what happens is, just let me, like that, it goes in that side there, and it comes out that side there, right near the top, where it's fleshy, away from the hand. But when he lets go of it, so they can see, what happens is, it then looks like it's gone in the hand there and out there, because obviously it's pinched up in the air, right, so it went in at the pinch point here, out, but when you let go and let it go down, it looks like a much bigger, more severe thing, and visually they see needle through the back of the hand. And it's, wow, I didn't feel that. No, you won't, because you can't feel 2 lots of things at once. And that pressure on there has made it go numb anyway. So visually that is, ooh, wow. And then to further convince them, he'll go, you know what? Just verbally, say 3 times with the saliva on your tongue that normal sensibilities return to all the rest of my hand except where the needle is. So we'll say this 3 times, Rachel. I'll swallow the saliva. Now notice, and then you'll go, look, if I pull on your hairs over here, you can feel it, can't you? And you'll tug them again like before. You go like, well, that's weird, I can feel, but I'm not feeling. More confusion, disorientation, what the hell's going on? So then ritual again, feel no discomfort, and you'll pinch the skin up as takes the needle out. Total frigging convincer. Little plaster on, make sure everything's sterile. I'm not suggesting you do this, but I have done. Make sure everything's sterile if you did. There's certain laws there, you know, can't get rid of your needles in the correct manner. Blunts, sharps, instruments. They're convinced. It's now about repetition. You see, it's all essentially the same. What I like to do is teach people if it's for a one-to-one, you know, if it's someone to control the pain. I'll teach them this as the anchor. I'll do the hair thing. Depends on the severity. I might do a needle thing if it's a seminar. Then I will do CMT, but I will actually bother to speak to them at some point. Because at some point where in the script it says direct suggestions relevant to the issue, I will get them to imagine, and I'll do like the head engineer thing that we did with the almond eye closure, without turning off all the power, except have them imagine dials in the mind and going to the head engineer and finding the one that controls their sensitivity to that area of the body, and get them to do the visual of turning it down. Combined with the environment, this, that, the other, essentially that pretty much sums up hypnosis, NLP, elements of pain control. Other than there is one approach called, I suppose you could call it visualisation, but I'm trying to, the book's called Healing Through the Power of Thought, something like that. Something like that. By a guy called John Howard, I believe. The details are on the disc anyway. The concept of this is to hypnotise somebody, like use the start of CMT for example, get them deep, and then get them to visualise inside their body, go into the area of the body that causes discomfort. And they won't know how they know, but they can see inside. It may be a certain colour. What colour is that?
Emo charts as well. I've got different names, don't they?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. What colour is it? Yeah. What colour is it? Oh, right. What colour do you think it would need to be to not bother you in the weather? What could we do to make it that colour? What do you need to visualise? Whatever they say, however ridiculous, just as in the CMT examples, you get them to visualise doing internally. And there is an argument that doing that internally can help people become healed with physical illnesses and complaints. Who am I to say whether that is true or not? There are people out there saying that's the reason that they have got better. Maybe it is, or maybe it's because the issue they had was amplified to some level psychosomatically on top of a genuine thing. I don't know. It's not for me to say. If it works for them, it works for them. Simple as. Different things work for different people to different levels at different times. It was touched on a bit ago, but there have been studies in America that, for example, even apparent life-threatening illnesses such as cancer can, through positive visualisation, be helped. I'll say helped, because you're not allowed to claim cure on any level, and I certainly wouldn't feel comfortable saying that. But the studies were that control group, someone who's like the normal treatment, as opposed to having positive visualisation therapy, which was obviously to feel good, positive, look at the good things in life, and also to imagine that within them they've got this magical rabbit, and in their body all the cells and tissues that have got the cancer, or whatever, depending relevant to the illness, are like a big field of carrots. And their magic rabbit, they've got to let it loose in the right area to eat away the carrots and destroy them all. There is evidence out there, apparently, allegedly, that the people who went through such visualisations showed better improvement, healing, call it what you will, than those that don't.
That's sort of using the white rabbit as a metaphor for the white blood cells and leukocytes that fight pain at the infection level, so you can give them a little education lesson if they're not versed in biology. Then you use your metaphor
and anchor it together.
Anchor it.
Yeah. But you know, in truth, it's pretty much proven and generally accepted by pretty much everybody within reason that those people with a positive attitude tend to live longer than those with a negative attitude. You know, the people that have been told you've got a month to live and they go, bollocks, and they're still alive 3 years later. They've still got, not like it's gone away, but they're living way longer than they've been told because they've refused to give up. They die eventually, in the majority of cases. Well, everyone dies eventually. You know, everyone does die eventually. Let's be honest and face up to it, right? So, I don't know. That's for your own state of mind, belief systems, ethics. You know, legally you can't claim cures if you're going to be dealing with clients that have got life-threatening illnesses. You should only be doing so anyway if their doctor is fully aware that you are treating them and you have got written confirmation from their doctor that the doctor is aware of this, so that you are fully aware that this is not an alternative to conventional treatment, it is complementary to. Because otherwise you stand yourself to get in so much fucking shit. It's just not worth it.
Just going back to the noise therapy, on the programme, I don't know if it's the one you saw, there's a rather impressive leg operation.
Chiselling bone out. Yeah.
Chiselling bone out, sawing it with a...
I know a load of people after gigs would come up to me about a year ago, I think. There's a guy in Bournemouth somewhere had done, he made national press. He's a hypnotherapist. It was something to do with the bit of bone there, base of your thumb it said, so I presume it means around there somewhere. But apparently, if people say, surgeons say, if you were just to wander in and say to a surgeon, right, I want you to hack that bit of bone out, that would be apparently one of the most painful parts of your body to have bone taken out of.
It's essentially a matter of belief, but thank you, because you reminded me that I didn't quite finish off on noise therapy. Essentially a matter of belief on some levels, but my belief and understanding and experience in life is the number of times I've been doing, say, work in the office, okay, and I'm doing stuff, and then suddenly I feel a tiny, it's insignificant, hardly feels like anything, but oh, bloody hell, what? So I examine my hand, and then I notice, oh, fuck, a paper cut. That very second, it suddenly becomes stingy, right? Same thing, chopping veg or something. Suddenly, oh, what's that red stuff? Blood? Oh, fuck. And then it starts throbbing. When you weren't consciously aware that it had been done, and I feel this explains why lots of people can suddenly go, you know what, I didn't even realise I'd been stabbed. So someone walked up to me and said there was a knife inside of me. Because you didn't know, the mind's distracted enough on something else, and that's what it's down to, mind distraction. I think we're summing it up to here. Then pretty much anything, and with hypnosis you are distracting the mind, relaxing the body. The more relaxed you are, the less you can feel pain. I think it's elements of all this together, truly is. It is down to belief, but it's also down to your intent and how you look at the authority figure.